Side mount. Now, there's different positions we can put our hands in. Traditionally, the very first position you learn is here. So the inside hand is on the hip. The outside hand goes underneath and is underneath this arm. But take your hand out from behind my head because I know it's hurting you. So this is actually not really the best position in the world in terms of versatility, right? Because if you're making the underhook, the two main escapes always from the bottom of side mount are, regardless of the hand positioning, the two main escapes that are the most common are going to your knees, right? And trying to wrestle your way to the top, or recomposing. And there's different ways of doing those two escapes, but those are the two biggest ones. Getting back to guard, getting to your knees, right? Now, if I'm underhooked, I'm a big proponent of if this arm is making an underhook, if the outside arm is making an underhook, I never try to recompose this way. Because if she's really pressuring me here, like you don't have to go over my head, you go to the other side. It's just, this is very, I mean, I can make it work, but how many of us, including brown, black, every belt level, have you ever got here and tried to do the old famous oompa up over your shoulder? And you might get back to guard, but you got to really work to get it. Okay, so I don't like, if the arm is under, I'm always going to my knees. I never recompose from that. Okay, so let's go back. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to do the near side head hug, like this. Okay, and we've got different versions. We've got, this to me is position 3. All right, so you have position 1 is here. This is good for going to your knees, not so good for recomposing. Okay? Position 2 is here. This is good for both, going to your knees or recomposing, but the downside is this arm is much more exposed. Position 3 is the near side head hug. This is actually good for both. Okay, and the arm is pretty safe here. Right? Kimuras aren't really available. The only thing really available here is far side arm bar. Okay? That's the only thing I have to really watch out for this arm for. She can't Americana this arm. She can't Kimura this arm. I just have to make sure she doesn't step over my head. Go. I just have to make sure she doesn't. Yeah. That's what I have to watch out for. But the cool part is, what this allows me to do that being under doesn't allow me to do. If I'm under, it just doesn't allow me to open up this angle very well. Okay? Doesn't allow me to open up this angle very well. If I'm here, I oompa up and over my shoulder. Take this arm out so it doesn't hurt your elbow. I oompa up and over my shoulder, and I straighten my arm at 45 degrees like I'm trying to touch my shoulder to my ear, and I reach in between my opposite shoulder and ear. So it's just like that stretch everybody does at the beginning of class, right? Just about every school in the country. Okay? That's what we're doing. So we're here, up and over the shoulder at 45. Look how much that moves her. Right? Now from here, I can just go ahead and shrimp. Right? I like to throw this leg inside. I'm not just going to scoot it in. Right? So let's turn this way a little bit so I can. So instead of getting here and then trying to just bring this leg in, I'm throwing it. And that hand became a grip. Right? This is going to bite. Right? Either across the back or on their foot if you can get it. If I can get it, it's great. But if I can't, I'll go here just to kind of get the quick bite. Now from here, I'm going to switch my hips to the opposite side, pull my foot through, and get back to guard. Okay? I know this seems really basic, but there's some real good details here, and it's going to play into what we're doing in the next technique, because this is going to be a series we're going to do, okay, depending upon how they defend. So remember, I'm not saying this is wrong. It's good for specific things. Remember, the right move at the wrong time won't work. To me, trying to recompose from this, especially if she's down a little bit lower, super difficult to oompa up and over my shoulders now. Because she's kind of killed this hook. She's killed this underhook. I mean, I can do it, but man, you let like a high-level guy get on top of you that's maybe a little bit bigger, or just somebody on top of you that has a real good top game, trying to make that oompa up and over your shoulder here is a nightmare. But if I'm here, but again, there's no Americana, there's no Kimura, right? The only thing I have to be careful with is far side armbar. If I feel her start to far side armbar, go. No way. Can you far side armbar with your head pushed over? No way. Right? So the instant, and you can go before or after. If they're just sitting here doing nothing, I can force the escape. Boom! Then I can shrimp and finish my escape. But if I feel those hips come up to far side armbar me, go. Same thing. That's my mark. Okay? I shrimp away a little bit to clear space. I don't recommend trying to come up to your knees from here. You're going to get razor locked. She's just going to lock her hands together here as I'm trying to come up, and I'm going to get my arm broken. So I don't recommend trying to come up here. I'm just here long enough to make a grip, and I break dance that bottom leg in, going as deep in as I can go with that knee. I make a hook, I switch my hips, and go to guard. Whatever type of guard you're comfortable going to. Okay? You might need to see it again. One more time. So, last time we're here, I'm hugging the head. This prevents her. Another thing this helps do is this keeps her head high. It keeps her from doing this. It keeps her from bringing herself down low. Let's go back. Try to go low. Really hard. Right? Because I'm controlling her head. Right? So I'm going to oompa up over my shoulder at a 45. Remember, I can do that now, or I can wait for her to try to do the far side armbar. Either one is fine. She starts going, boom. I shrimp away, I break dance that bottom leg in. Now from here, I make sure and make a hook of some kind. Of course, for those of you that are a little bit more advanced, we can actually use this position right here to attack the arm. We can attack kimuras here, right? We can attack omoplatas here. There's a lot of stuff we can do here. If you don't want to attack and you want to go, if they leave this arm here, you can always attack that arm. Okay? But if you want, I can just recompose and get back to guard. Okay? Make sense?